Welcome to the second episode of Let's Talk About Race Election Edition. In this episode, we'll explore Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign and Kamala Harris's 2024 run. Let's dive into the 2016 election. Zaria, could you recap Hillary Clinton's strategies and her approach to demographic outreach?
Of course, let's get into it. Clinton's 2016 campaign positioned herself as a highly experienced candidate. She was flexing her tenure as Secretary of State, U.S. Senator, and First Lady.
She also had her slogan, Stronger Together, which targeted women voters, younger voters, and marginalized communities, especially Black Americans.
Heavy on Black Americans, she had a huge outreach to Black voters. She attempted to address systemic racism, even meeting with Black Lives Matter movement activists. Her policies prioritized issues like incarceration rates and the low economic opportunities for marginalized communities.
Yeah, she was definitely aware that Black voters were essential for securing a Democratic win. And how effective would y'all say this strategy was?
Honestly, mixed to say the least. While Clinton secured significant support from women and minority voters, her campaign faced challenges in fully mobilizing Black voters.
Yeah, like, no shade, but she was a white woman talking about systemic racism, and you know how that goes. People were like, girl, we've heard this before.
Yeah, it's very difficult to tell whether candidates like Clinton genuinely want to inflict transformative change or if they're doing a performance to secure the win. So, the issue of skepticism among marginalized communities when it comes to political promises is very understandable.
Yes, that's exactly what critics argued, and it may have contributed to the decline in Black voter turnout since the 2012 election.
Yeah, the skepticism really showed up in the numbers. The Black voter turnout rate declined for the first time in 20 years in a presidential election, falling to 59.6% in 2016 after reaching a record high 66.6% in 2012.
Whew, that is a big drop.
OMG. And do y'all remember the whole super predator mess with Clinton back in the day? That history definitely came back to bite her when she tried to connect with Black communities.
It's honestly so wild because moments like that, where she perpetuated harmful stereotypes, made it hard for her to earn full trust, no matter how much outreach she did later.
Clock it. And beyond Black voters, she also didn't appeal to white working class voters, many of whom were drawn to Trump's messaging.
Unfortunately, so, his rhetoric around economic anxiety and cultural preservation resonated strongly with the white working class voters.
Now let's fast forward to 2024. Kamala Harris enters the chat. Her campaign brought a whole different energy. Wouldn't y'all agree?
Oh, 100%. We can definitely see how racial ideology shaped her campaign and its reception.
Her identity as a Black and South Asian woman was very influential, and her campaign leaned heavily on this aspect to connect with voters from diverse backgrounds.
For sure. And in addition to that, unlike Clinton, Harris's approach to systemic issues felt more transformative. Her policies on criminal justice reform and wealth building for marginalized groups demonstrated a deeper understanding of the structural challenges faced by these communities.
I agree, but let's not forget she faced a lot of criticism. The very thing that made her campaign so powerful, her identity, also brought its share of backlash.
Yeah, some people argue that her campaign overly relied on her identity and didn't sufficiently broaden its policy discussions.
I really love that her identity was a big focus, but I will say it definitely risked alienation of voters. And this is a similar mistake to Clinton's.
You know what could have helped? She could have taken notes from history. I mean, in this economy, people want unity. Connecting with the working class could have been a game changer, showing how people can come together across racial lines to demand change.
Oh, facts. She's all about unity, so leading into the working class struggle could have hit different.
Yes, that's honestly a great point about Bacon's Rebellion. But on the bright side, she absolutely devoured her connection with younger voters, especially Gen Z.
No, because let's really talk about it. I've never seen an electoral candidate use social media to this extent. It really gave her a stronger pull with younger demographics, which contrasts the Clinton struggle in 2016.
Yeah, she did her big one with the Kamala HQ accounts. Her campaign clearly learned from Clinton's missteps by engaging more authentically with minority communities and emphasizing transformative policies.
Yeah, all right, all right. Let's talk numbers. How did voter turnout and racial breakdowns shift between 2016 and 2024?
In 2016, white voters made about 71% of the electorate. By 2024, that dropped below 65%. America's diversity is showing, and we love to see it. Black voter turnout saw a slight bump thanks to Harris, and Hispanic and Asian voters showed up in bigger numbers.
And among white voters, there were notable shifts as well. White women, particularly college educated women, showed increase in alignment with Harris, largely due to heightened concerns about reproductive rights.
Meanwhile, non college educated white voters stayed loyal to Trump. No surprises there.
And what about changes in attitudes and behaviors among specific racial groups?
I'm so glad you brought this up. Black voters' attitudes shifted notably. Harris's candidacy inspired hope and a sense of representation, but skepticism still remained, especially among older Black voters who questioned her ability to deliver meaningful change.
A lot of that skepticism, straight up sexism. Let's call it what it is.
Clock it.
For Hispanic voters, it was a generational split. Younger voters leaned Democratic, while older folks leaned more conservative. And Asian voters, they showed out for Harris, inspired by her heritage and policies addressing hate crimes and immigration reform.
It's honestly so interesting to see these parallels and differences. Thank you all for this enlightening discussion. Any closing thoughts?
Elections are basically society holding up a mirror to itself. The 2016 and 2024 races showed just how much race and identity shape American politics.
Yup, elections are kind of like a messy group chat, chaotic but revealing.
I know that's right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. This conversation really underscores the importance of examining how racial ideology shape not only elections, but the broader fabric of our society. Until next time, stay curious and keep talking about race. Bye.